On today's episode of America Unfiltered with James Pascalides, we'll talk about topics like Elon Musk going after the IRS, JD Vance going to Munich to possibly end the war between Russia and Ukraine, RFK and Tulsi Gabbard getting confirmed to their positions that Donald Trump put them in, and we'll talk about Mr. Beast and his new game show he had on Prime Video. All that and much more coming up on today's episode of America Unfiltered with James Pascalides, starting now.
The moment is here. This is our moment.
America, we are back, baby. Welcome to episode 24 of America Unfiltered with James Pascalides. I talked to you guys about my topics already a little today. I want to dive right on into them. First, I want to talk to you guys about RFK and Tulsi Gabbard getting confirmed in their positions in the White House under Donald Trump. I'm really excited. We already talked about Tulsi Gabbard a little this week, so I'm going to talk about RFK. I'm really excited about RFK. I think his stance on Make America Healthy Again, wanting to remove all the cancer causing and the stuff that's causing the heart epidemics in our country, remove all that from our foods. If it's poison, why are we eating it? Why is our government allowing it to be sold to us unless it's a monetary gain? So I'm very excited that we finally have a president in office who cares about these things and is appointing people who are the right people for the job, who not only want to tackle those issues, but tackle issues like big pharma and things like that. The vast majority of ads we see on television today are pharmaceutical ads, and you'll see something for asthma that will give you suicidal thoughts, cancer, and all these terrible different side effects. So it's to me, it's very corrupt that they're able to advertise on TV the way they are. I don't think that the majority of ads we see on television should be medical ads. I think the fact that most of these medical companies aren't held accountable, that they'll make billions in profits and have to pay millions in fines years later when everything we already knew just comes out, when they find out that Oxycontin was as addicting as heroin because it's basically just slow release heroin. They only have to pay a couple million in fines when they've made billions on it. So it's just one of these corrupt industries that I'm very glad we have someone just right on the front lines ready to tackle it, like RFK. RFK is a man in his 70s who could bench press more than most people in their 20s I know. RFK is an extremely fit individual. He understands health, and he understands what we need to do to make America healthy again. I love that, and I love that Donald Trump picked him for this position. I want to move on to our next topic. I don't want to stay on that topic for too long because we've talked about RFK a lot, but I want to pop up this photo for you guys from the White House. It's a tweet they sent out for Valentine's Day that's apparently controversial. I love Donald Trump's humor. I think that's one of the things a lot of Americans love about him is that he's a president who can give jokes, take jokes, and I think this is something funny. It's just a little cute humor. Roses are red, violets are blue. Everyone loves one of those poems. We used to give them growing up to the people we had crushes on in class, and I don't know, I think it's funny the White House brings it back as a little Valentine's Day joke. And plus, I mean, nothing they're saying is wrong if you come here illegally. Like, if you just break this down to a common sense thing, illegal. What does the word illegal mean? Against the law. So if you do something against the law, we will provide a punishment for what you did, is what they're saying. Nothing wrong with that. If someone murders someone, you don't look at them and say, oh, they shouldn't be punished. If someone robs someone, you don't look at them and say that. I mean, maybe if you're in California, you think that, but that's just a backwards way of thinking. I don't think that if people do things illegal that they shouldn't be held accountable. I agree we should hold everyone accountable who does illegal things. It's one of the things that makes America great. It's what keeps it safe and what keeps it functioning properly. But yeah, this is just a lighthearted joke by the White House that is somehow the media is taking. They're taking it as if he said the worst thing ever. They're completely blowing this out of proportion. Almost every news media outlet in the country is talking about this, and it's just like, why? What are you reporting on? You're just wasting the people's time talking about something as dumb as this. And that's how I almost feel right now, just talking about it to you guys. But I just found it to be a lighthearted, funny joke that I don't know, thought I'd share with you guys. I want to move on to our next topic. I want to talk about the Beast Games finale. So if you don't know who Mr. Beast is, Jimmy Donaldson, he's about 26 years old, I think. He's worth about billions of dollars too. There's no set amount to his net worth. He's been offered over $1 billion for his company and said no. He said he personally valued it around $20 billion in his mind at the time, and I'm sure that's only grown since he's now had the launch of his first official TV show on Amazon Prime called Beast Games. I'm not going to talk about this for too long, but the reason I do want to talk about it is because it was the biggest cash prize in TV history. And this is a spoiler alert, so if you are watching this or plan to watch it, which I urge you to if you haven't, please skip this for the next minute or so. I don't want to spoil anything. But I want to talk about one of the reasons I loved it when I watched the finale yesterday. So they took the prize money, which was $5 million, the biggest in game show history. They doubled it to $10,000 because someone flipped a coin to either self-eliminate if they got the coin flip wrong or double the money if they got it right, which is, I mean, a ballsy thing for Jimmy Donaldson, a 26-year-old kid, to be doing, just giving up another $5 million to a coin flip. But you got to love it. You got to love that this kid is putting everything on the line to be successful. That's one of the things that makes America great. But the person who ended up winning the show, they're someone who I rooted for the entire show because they're someone who wanted to put the money to good use. Their son suffers from some, I don't know the exact name of it, so I don't want to missay it, but it's some sort of a creatine transport deficiency in his brain, so he can't get all the supplements he needs to his brain. This is to the best of my knowledge. I could be slightly incorrect here, but he's using all the money to try and find a cure for his son so his son can have a better life. So this is someone I rooted for the entire show. This is someone who I think deserved the money and earned the money, played a good, fair, and hard game the entire time. And yeah, I think that God was looking after this person, that he blessed their family because he deserved it. He worked the hardest, he played the smartest, and yeah, he comes from a good place where he wants to use the money for a good cause to find the cure for his son and anyone else in the world who's struggling with this rare disease. It's a very sad thing that a child is going through that, but it's got to warm your heart a little to know that he has a dad who's willing to do anything to try and help him. It's one of the most beautiful stories I've ever heard. I definitely it warmed my heart watching that yesterday, watching that finale. I urge everybody to keep watching it. I know they're going to release more seasons in the future. I think the more we support Jimmy Donaldson, Mr. Beast as well, the better these things will become. He loves to give money out to people in need. I think he's an amazing person. He's also talked about the possibility of running for president one day down the line as he becomes old enough. So he's someone definitely to keep an eye on in the, whether it's political or just general atmosphere of everything that's going on. I really think he's a truly inspiring individual in this world, and especially just for younger adults. Like I said, he's only 26 years old and he's accomplished all this and so much more. You could go on for days talking about everything that Jimmy Donaldson has done. So my hat's off to him and everything he's accomplished. I aspire to be 1/1,000,000th of this amount of success that he has. He is a true inspiration to all of us. I want to go on to our next topic. I'm going to talk a little bit about how Elon Musk is going to be auditing the IRS. This is something that I think, I don't know, if you're Republican, if you're Democrat, no matter what you are, you got to be a little excited for this. We all hate the IRS. We all hate the fact that everything we do is taxed, that we spend our money, we pay taxes on it. You receive a paycheck, you're taxed on that. You're taxed at the end of the year as well. And then every transaction, everything is taxed. So the government is always getting a cut of every little thing. It is definitely something that I think when we're able to avoid them in a legal way, when you have write-offs or whatever it is, or however you're able to save on taxes, I think as Americans it's something we celebrate. And the fact that the IRS, who consistently has a lot of government overreach, a agency that has tons of faults, is now being looked into by the Department of Government Efficiency to not only see why it takes so many agents to do that job, but why it's so inefficient, why they constantly are getting things wrong, and he's going to also look at their books and see if that they would pass an audit that they would give to the American people. I love this. I love that Elon Musk is standing up to the IRS. He's doing exactly what Donald Trump put him in his place to do, and exactly what we voted for. You hear a lot right now from Democrats across the country saying, we didn't vote for Elon Musk. And you're right, we didn't vote for him as president, but we did vote for him to be the head of the Department of Government Efficiency. Because for the last 8 months of Trump's campaign, before he was elected president of the United States, he stood next to and behind Donald Trump at the vast majority of his rallies, talking about how they were going to set this Department of Government Efficiency up to completely override and overrun the way the government works right now. It was run terribly. The financials were down the toilet. Everything from just overspending in other countries to things that the taxpayers would get so mad at knowing, like sending $50 million of condoms to anywhere. They said it wasn't Gaza now, it was Zimbabwe. I don't know, it was some other place. I don't want to misspeak. But yeah, like, who cares? We shouldn't be sending $50 million of condoms to anywhere in the world. I don't care where it is. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. We're the United States. Let's take care of United States citizens before we take care of everyone else's citizens. And that's what Elon Musk is doing. So, to anyone who says, we didn't vote for you, Elon Musk, you have no authority to do this, I challenge them and say, every Republican who voted for Donald Trump knowingly did so voting, knowing Elon Musk would be doing everything he's doing now. Not only that, Elon Musk is not just doing all the things he promised he'd do, he's exceeding the expectations we all had. Elon Musk is cutting billions a day in spending. Billions. The previous administration couldn't stop spending money. They said we have to keep spending money. No, we got to print more. Elon is just cut. That's worthless. That's worthless. That's worthless. And he's being transparent about it as well, consistently posting on X and being transparent to the American people about what the government or Department of Government Efficiency is cutting from government spending and why they're doing it. I think it's a beautiful thing. I think it just goes to show how easily America can run. It's like Twitter. Elon Musk bought Twitter, fired 85% of the staff, and it operates even better than it did before. You can get in touch with support faster now than you could when there was thousands and thousands and thousands of employees working there. It's ridiculous. It shows you don't need this large number of people to run an organization. And all the government is an organization. America's the biggest business in the world, and it just needs to be run a little better than it was. And Donald Trump is the perfect businessman to run that business to the moon. And Elon Musk will bring us to Mars from there. So it's a beautiful setup we have going. I want to move on to our next topic. This is something I'm a little sad about, but you guys know I'm a huge Philadelphia Eagles fan. We won the Super Bowl. The Eagles parade was today, and there was sadly 2 people who have been shot at the parade. The suspect is still at large. They have not found him yet. I know the Philadelphia police are actively working on this, and I'm sure the FBI is as well. But I just want to pray and say my thoughts, prayers, my heart goes out to the families of these individuals, to the individuals as well. It's a terrible day when something like that happens. I know Philadelphia can be a kind of wild place when the Eagles win a bigger game. I was personally in the city of Philadelphia after the 2018 Super Bowl win, and I could tell you from personal experience, Philly fans definitely get very, very rowdy after a big win. So I want to pray for this individual. I pray for their just safety and their health and their family while they're going through this. I think it's, no matter what you're a fan of, what your personal beliefs are, what you think of anyone, this is a sad day in America when this happens to anybody, and we should all put our personal feelings about everything else aside just to pray for these individuals. I do want to move on to our next topic. I don't want to stay on any one topic for too long right now. I want to talk and show you guys a video, actually. I want to talk about J.D. Vance and how he went to Munich to talk to Zelensky to possibly end the war. I talked to you guys a little bit about this in a previous episode, about how the war might be coming to an end, about how we're finding out how the majority of money has just been laundered. This entire thing has been a scam for the most part. It's been a brutal, deadly war that did not need to happen, and was only happening because there was weakness from the American government, aka Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. So I'm going to pop this video up for you guys, and then we'll talk about it for a second after. Before I let you go on, enjoy the rest of your Fridays.
We're, of course, happy to welcome the Ukrainian delegation led by President Zelensky. We had a number of fruitful conversations, a number of things for us to follow up and work on. And fundamentally, the goal is, as President Trump outlined it, we want the war to come to a close. We want the killing to stop, but we want to achieve a durable, lasting peace, not the kind of peace that's going to have Eastern Europe in conflict just a couple years down the road. So we had a number of good conversations about how we might accomplish that together, and certainly we'll have many more in the days, weeks, and months to come.
I don't know if you guys saw when Kamala Harris went to talk to Zelensky, I don't know, what was it, like 3-4 years ago? And it was just a terrible meeting. It seemed like no chemistry. She wasn't talking, elegantly at all. She wasn't talking smoothly. Nothing was coming out well. And then you see how J.D. Vance talks, and you see how everything flows well. He's an extremely smart, well-thought-out individual. He knows what he's talking about. He's not just like reading off a script someone told him 5 minutes ago in the other room. He actually knows the information, and he's just a generally smart person. And I think Trump made the greatest possible pick for his vice president. I didn't really know too much about J.D. Vance before Trump picked him, and I did my fair share of research once he did. And I have come to love almost everything about J.D. Vance, from his honesty, how he's not only grown in his perspectives on President Trump, he wasn't always the biggest fan of him. There was a point where he's talked about it, corrupted by lies that the media had told him and government agencies had told him. And he only realized over time, as those things became disproven, as Trump prevailed, that those weren't true. And Trump is actually an excellent president, strongest negotiator this country's ever seen, one of the best businessmen running the biggest business in the world. Again, people love to say Donald Trump was given $1 million. It was easy for him. I would love to see anybody turn $1 million into $1 billion, and I will give you all the props in the world. But it's a lot harder than it sounds, because what $1 billion is compared to $1 million is a lot larger and a lot more than a lot of people realize. I really think Donald Trump is not only one of the most successful people we've ever seen and one of the brightest stars when it comes to just sales and negotiating, but he's also just a extremely strong-willed person who wants nothing more than to help the American people. There's not a lot of people that you or I or anyone know who would take multiple assassination attempts and still stand up on the same podium giving speeches in the same place where he could be shot again. This guy time and time again talks about how he thinks that God saved his life from that bullet, which I believe. When you really watch the video, and if you watch it in slow motion especially, Donald Trump was standing there looking like this for minutes, and then for a brief moment turned his head, and the bullet went right by and hit his ear. He didn't turn his head, the bullet goes right through his head and he's dead. He didn't turn his head for minutes, and for the briefest moment he turned his head and the bullet hit his ear. God saved his life that day, and God did it so he could be on this earth, to run this country, to fix our economy, to do all the great things that Donald Trump is currently doing, appointing the right people in the right places for the White House. I'm James Pascalides. This has been episode 24 of America Unfiltered. I'm signing off. I hope you all have a blessed day and a blessed weekend. Thank you.